This is full body waxing part 2. We just got cut off there. I was just draping the client. So we've just gone through the first part. We haven't started any of the waxing yet. This is for the full drape of, because we're starting with a face, I'm just gonna go ahead and cover her up a little higher. Keep her warm, keep her feeling comfortable and private. That's the most important thing, is that we do the check-ins with the waxing to make sure people are comfortable throughout. What we're gonna do first is the face, then we'll go to underarm, and then also I'll adjust the covering as we go down there. She's comfortable, and now it's time for me to wash my hands so that I can perform the service. So I'm going to wet my hands at the sink. I'm going to find that coin-sized amount of liquid hand soap, and I'm going to wash my hands together down to the wrists, and I'm going to wash the back of my hands down to the wrists. I'm going to wash my fingers, and I'm going to wash the backs of my fingers. I'm going to wash my fingertips and nails. I'm going to wash between my fingers. I'm going to wash between my fingers and my thumbs. I'm going to wash my thumbs. I'm going to wash my wrists. I'm going to do all of that for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, and then I'm going to thoroughly rinse everything underneath the water. Once everything is rinsed, I'm going to get the disposable paper towels or a clean towel, turn it off, dry everything off completely. Those disposable paper towels are going in the trash. Let's get some 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and I'm going to sanitize my hands. Gotta make sure those hands are nice and dry, because we're gonna be putting on our gloves here for our waxing services. And the first thing I'm going to do is look at her brows and her lip and assess the direction of the hair growth. Actually just going to do the brow. I'm going to break it up. It just makes it easier on you when you're dealing with one area at a time. So I'm just going to quickly assess, and I could have been doing this as well when I was doing that pre-wax. Sometimes it's nice to take a look and see. So I'm going to go ahead now with my pre-wax, and I basically want to remove any trace of oil, moisturizer, makeup, anything that might be under the brow or over the brow. So I'm going to take a minute here to really get that taken care of. Between the brow, of course, too. And then I'm going to dry that area off, and then I'm going to powder it lightly. And now I'm gonna test the wax on myself. So I'm always gonna test it on myself before I test it on the client. So I'm scraping that side, of course, and the edges. I wanna make sure it's all off. And then I'm gonna take it to the inside of my arm where it's a little bit more delicate, 45-degree angle, and then I'm gonna take that little thin layer just like I do on her or him, anyone else I've gotta do it on. And then I'm gonna go ahead and remove this because it feels great. So we're gonna get right on these eyebrows. Fortunately, they look not so bad. She does have a nice thick coarse hair, which is gorgeous. So I'm gonna take my stick in at a 45-degree angle. I'm gonna let that wax fall down, and then I'm gonna apply it to where I wanna remove that hair under the brow in the direction of the hair growth. And as we get to the outer brow, her hair starts to grow down slightly. So I'm going to angle that wax down as well. That's the key. It's just the application goes in the direction of the hair growth. And then I'm going to get a wax strip and I'm going to apply it to the wax under the eyebrow and I'm going to press in the direction of the hair growth also. And then I'm going to hold the strip tight and then get the skin nice and taut, and I'm going to remove it in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to press so that it doesn't sting her too bad. And same with this. So it's a little bit different direction that I am pressing. And then I want to stay as close to the skin always as possible. Holding the skin tight and then press. And then I'm just checking to make sure the hair came off, and it did. And then I'm just gonna give it a quick look. I see there's a little bit to tweeze, but not much. Now I'm gonna go to the top of the brow. She also likes to have that hair removed. It's not a lot, but I can see how she wants it clean looking. Hold that skin taut, press. And skin. And that looks good. I do see a few areas though that of course we're gonna have to tweeze, but we'll get to that. Let's get to the other side here. Good news is she's a new client to me, but she's not a new client to waxing, which means that she gets waxed a lot. She just recently relocated to the area, so I feel good about her underarm and her bikini because I feel like that hair isn't going to be as coarse as if she's gotten waxed on a regular basis or she's used to that. It won't be as difficult, where a lot of people, if it's their first time, it may be a little bit more coarse, and based on my reading, it might even bleed a little bit out of the follicle. So I'm going to hold the skin tight, and I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to press. which, I mean, what a bummer. Ouch. So I'm going to hold the skin tight, and I'm going to remove. And now I'm going to go on top. So I'm now shifting the direction of the application, because the wax application, because the hair is starting to grow down. Get a little bit more wax, so I'm going in to get a different applicator. And never put an applicator into wax. Never double dip. So this part grows this way, so I'm going to apply the strip this way. And I'm going to hold the skin nice and tight. Skin tight. Nice. So I only have one little area left to do on the brow as far as the waxing part goes, and that's between the brow. Let me just throw these. Here I am discarding these single-use items as I go along, versus at the end. Almost went to the lip. Boy, gotta get my thoughts together here. So this is the last bit of waxing on the brow that I'm gonna do, which is between the eyebrows. This hair is kind of growing down, out and down. So I'm just applying a little bit of wax here right in the center of the brow so that she doesn't have the old unibrow. Although I kind of like it when it's real thick like that. I think it's awesome. And then I'm gonna hold this brow skin nice and tight right there, and I'm gonna pull up towards her hairline. Press. Okay, good. So really there's just a little bit to tweeze. So in order for me to tweeze, I'm gonna go ahead and use that post-wax remove, you know, that remove step after that, the wax. It just gets any wet residue off. And I can get in there with my tweezers and remove any hair. I can also, she does like a little bit of a defined arch, and the tweezers will allow me to be more specific with that. I did not want to remove too much brow hair and then not be able to have a beautiful arch for her, so I'm going to control that a little bit more with the tweezer. So I've got my cotton round, I've got some tweezers right here. And I'm going to work my way in on this arch a little bit, just making it perfect. And one thing to know about tweezer hair removal is you always remove the hair in the direction of the hair growth. And it is honestly one of my most favorite methods of hair removal, because I have so much control in what I remove and what I don't remove. Maybe it's because I'm a makeup artist that I like it as much as I do, but I really feel like tweezing is like an art. So let's go ahead and soothe her brow, and we're going to move on to the lip. Okay. Now it's time for her lip, which she gets waxed on a regular basis. So the really amazing thing is it looks great. So I'm going to analyze the direction of the hair growth first before I get it cleaned off and powdered. Okay, so let's clean it. It's typical. We've got some outgrowth and we got some downgrowth, and then in the center of that lip, that hard to get area is also some downgrowth. So we're going to clean it and then we're going to lightly powder it so that we can quickly wax it. I get this service done as well, and it is somewhat painful, and so I want to make it as painless for my clients as possible. I want to be quick for them, quick and done. And now I am going to be as quick and precise as I can with my wax application. So I am going to apply some wax. And I don't have to retest on myself because it's the same client. Keep that in mind. If this was a new client or they were only coming for a lip wax, every single time I have a new client, I am going to test the temperature on myself. Out and down here. So we are going to hold the skin tight, and I'm going to remove it in the opposite direction of that hair growth. Good. A lot of that came out. That means I'm barely going to have to tweeze. I don't want to tweeze here that much if I don't have to. Just going to give this little friend right here a nice little taut skin up press. Beautiful. .45-degree angle, nice little thin as I can get it. that will take the hair out, of course. And then I have to turn down toward the side of the lip because that hair grows down right there. And now let's get this hair off. So it's our fashion in the United States for women not to have lip hair. So that's a nice little taut skin. Nice little thing to do here is to learn how to remove this hair so that your client doesn't have to have it either on their face. Skin taut and press. All right, I've got the center of the lip here. This one, excuse me, little last area that's a bit difficult and it is painful, but I know in the past a lot of people have told me to do this. Like press my tongue up underneath, so that's what I'm gonna have my client do. Kind of flattens that area out so we can get the hair, because obviously the skin goes in and out. And let's wax this off quickly. Let's get this over with for her. So I'm gonna hold the sides of the lip. Once again, I'm gonna keep it nice and flat and tight. It is hard to pull up there because the nose is in the way. So sometimes you have to go back and tweeze, but it looked like I got most of it. Okay, so let's get some of this post-epilation so we can remove some of this residue, if there's any wax residue, and then I'll tweeze and she'll be done and we'll move forward to the rest of the body. Got my tweezers right here. In the direction of the hair growth. Really, that was really smooth. It's just right here up by the nose, which is ouchie oochie. Perfect. Let's get some soothe on her. She's a trooper and she's got a lot more to do, but she's used to it. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay. So, I'm going to get my textbook here because I'm going to be walking you through the rest of this verbally. Sue, my gorgeous model here for waxing, I'm going to take the towel off because now we would be going to underarm, and she's in her drape and she's comfortable on the facial bed. She's just this part of a mannequin. So unfortunately we can't perform any more waxing services on the video to show how I would do it, but I'm going to walk you through it so that you understand exactly what's happening. So we're going to move to underarm now, and you can work one at a time. So you can keep one arm under. What I'm going to ask her to do is I'm going to ask her to take one arm up behind her head. So the hand would be behind her head and her elbow would be wide. So it wouldn't go down or a little bit or way too high. It's just going to be right out, and then that arm will rest on the bed. And I would be coming around here to analyze the direction of the hair growth underneath her arm. So it's my existing client. I have my gloves on. Everything is clean. I've already waxed her brow and her lip. So I don't have to test the wax again, but we're going to talk about what it's like for each position of the body, excuse me, as I progress down the body, what I'm going to do as I wax. So because we knew what the services that she was coming for, we've already draped her appropriately. So she has on one of those drapes that would have your chest and arms out. And then of course she has her disposable underwear on as well for the leg and bikini wax portion of this video. So we have draped right now. She's up to the covering the client's torso, and we're going to be standing at the client's head, and we're making sure that she's comfortable as I ask her to lift her arm and place her hand behind her head, checking in with that position is okay for her. She says she's fine, and I would be raising up my bed So she would be up more with her arm up versus laying all the way back and flat. The first step in all the waxing, as you saw, is to analyze the direction of the hair growth. And sometimes on the underarm, there's many different patterns in the hair growth or directions. And that's very common. If the hair in her underarm does grow in several directions, we're going to always apply the wax to each section in the direction of growth, removing each section in the opposite direction of the hair growth. So that would ring true. So let's talk about the steps that we do with the waxing. We do our pre-wax solution, removing all residue of body lotion and deodorant in the underarm. And then we are going to lightly powder that. Then we're going to obtain wax, dipping a spatula into our wax pot. We're going to wipe the side, back, and tip until a thin coat of wax remains on one side only. We will apply the wax, holding the spatula firmly at a 45-degree angle, placing the tip on the skin and letting the wax run down the spatula. Spread the wax as thinly as possible over the desired area, and remember to apply the wax in the direction of the hair growth. Discard this spatula. Then we're going to apply our removal strip, which may look a little bit bigger than what you saw me using for brows or lip, obviously. We're going to fold over an edge so that we have a way to pull it. And that's going to be our grip. And then we're going to smooth the remaining portion in that section where the wax is, also in the direction of the hair growth. And you're going to press and rub it a few times, and you'll see the wax come through. Then you've got that little fold, that little grip that you've created. So let's say this is the direction of the hair growth. I've got my little fold. I'm going to hold the skin tight with one hand, so not the hand, this hand. Let's say it's down here. I'm going to hold the skin tight with this hand, and then I'm going to pull it in the opposite direction of the hair growth, and I'm going to stay as close to her skin as possible, so this way. And then I'm going to press firmly to help release that stinging sensation that happens in that underarm area. Okay, and then I'm going to toss this strip. I'm going to make sure the hair came out, and then I'm going to throw it away. Then I'm going to repeat the procedure on a new area in that underarm, working quickly in this manner throughout the underarm, and then we can repeat on the other side. So we're going to do all of the waxing on this underarm, and she's going to bring her hand down, and we're going to go to this side, analyze hair growth, do your pre-wax solution, the powder, making sure you're getting rid of all that residue, powder it down. You're going to figure out your hair growth directions. You're going to start with one section. You're going to get that spatula, scraping the sides off, applying it to that in the direction of the hair growth, taking your strip, same thing, direction of the hair growth. We're going to remove in the opposite direction, holding the skin nice and tight, and do the whole underarm area, and then remove any wax. You're going to remove any wax with that wax remove, and then you can tweeze any hairs that might be left with tweezers. Then you get to apply soothing gel under those arms and show the clients the result. So let's talk about a couple of key things. It is not uncommon for newer underarm wax clients to bleed slightly from the follicle, since the hair in the underarm is often very coarse and dense. Bleeding will cease with continued waxing as the hair thins and becomes sparse. It is important and necessary to wear these gloves. So that's your underarm, and we are going to move to bikini and then legs. We're just working from head to toe. If you want to do legs before bikini, that may be a preference, but I feel like it would be easier for her to do bikini and move her leg around rather than wax the leg and ask her to move her leg around for the bikini. That's just my personal thought process. So I'm going to confirm that with Mrs. Piercy, but I have a feeling that if you're going to do all of that, it should be bikini and legs, but we'll see. I'm going to talk about a classic bikini wax. That will be the next thing that we do. And remember, she already has on this drape because she had her underarms done. She already has her disposable underwear on because we knew we were going to do bikini and legs. So we want to make sure that she's dressed appropriately and that she doesn't have to move and change for all of these services. So what you're going to do is drape the legs appropriately now to get in for the classic bikini. So let's talk about what you would be doing. You will, she's already lying on her back. So you're going to have her keep one leg straight and one leg, you're going to ask her to bend one leg out. You're going to take that leg out of the sheet. She can place her foot on her knee if that's comfortable for her. And you're going to tuck the bedding into this leg. So this leg is out. And then there'll be some sheet in between, like the knee. Like say, for example, this would be her bikini. This is the other leg. This is her other leg. So you're going to tuck the sheet all in here and down that leg. Her foot can be on that for now if you want to. And what we're going to do is first look to prepare the skin. We got to assess the direction of the hair growth carefully. If the hair grows in several directions, you're going to apply wax to each section in the direction of the hair growth and remove each section in the opposite direction. So you figured that out. You will apply your pre-wax solution to remove all residue of body lotion and then lightly dust the area with your powder. And then that will remove any last trace of oil or moisture that might be there. Then you're going to get your wax. I don't have to test it on myself because I've already been working on this client. You're going to get a thin coat on your spatula, wiping the side, the back, and the tip of that spatula. Then you're going to apply the wax. So you're going to begin on that upper thigh, like the top part of the bikini, the upper thigh. You're going to hold the spatula firmly at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to place the tip on the skin, let the wax run down, and then you get to smooth it down in that area as thinly as possible. In the direction of the hair growth, you're going to toss the spatula. You will apply a removal strip, folding over the edge that you're going to use as a grip. Press, and you're going to smooth and press it out a couple times. You're going to pull the skin taut, and then you're going to remove the hair in the opposite direction, keeping it as close to the skin as you can versus up close to the skin as you can. And then apply pressure to the waxed area immediately to help reduce the momentary stinging sensation. You can repeat as you go along in all the new areas. You're going to work inward toward the panty line. So you started at the top and you're going to work your way down. So the leg's going to go up and up and up in order for you to get down and down and down in that bikini line area. And then you're going to switch the leg positions when the entire area is clean to repeat on the other side. Once you have finished both sides of the bikini, you will remove any excess wax with that remove, and then you can remove any stray hair with tweezer if you need to. Of course, you're going to apply soothing gel to the entire waxed area, and you're going to show that to the client, the results to the client. Remember, once again, it is not uncommon for a newer bikini wax client to slightly bleed from the follicle since the hair is coarse and dense. Bleeding will cease with continued waxing as the hair thins and becomes more sparse. Once again, why we wear our protective gloves. And let's go into our leg wax. And the last video I did, I started at lower leg wax, and I'm going to read through this, but we're going to do the entire leg. So we are going to start with the client. We're going to have the client turn over, and we are going to start with the back of the leg, because we're going to go all the way up to, she wants the full leg wax, so we're going to go all the way up on that upper thigh area, just to the top of the thigh. And so what we want to do is drape the client. She's already comfortable, she just has to turn over, and then we'll pull that up to where it falls, below her seat area, but it shows the top of the leg so that we can go all the way down for her. So we're going to start on the back of the leg, then we're going to flip her over and do the front. So, and of course she has the appropriate undergarments on, and she's covered in the appropriate way. So we have to assess the direction of the hair growth on the legs, just like we did everything else. So on the top of the back, it may be going down, it may be going in different directions. And then when you look down to the calf, you may see that it's going down and then going on an angle. Once again, you're going to work your way in sections, and it's always going to be based on the direction of the hair growth. You will 100% remove with your pre-wax. You're definitely going to do that because you've got to remove all residue of body lotion, and you're going to dust with powder to make sure, once again, you remove any last trace of oil. You've got to get a nice dry matte skin. You'll obtain your wax, dip a spatula into the wax pot, wipe the side, back, and tip until there's just a thin coat of wax and it remains on one side. Then you'll apply it, and you're going to take it that 45-degree angle, place the tip on the skin, let the wax run down, then spread it thinly as possible over the desired area in the direction of the hair growth. Discard the spatula, apply the removal strip, taking a wide strip of fabric, folding it over an edge that you're going to have as a grip. Smooth that remaining portion over the wax. You're pressing and rubbing, and then you're going to remove it in the opposite direction of the hair growth then again, staying as close to the skin as you possibly can. You're pulling that skin nice and tight. You're removing in the opposite direction. Check, then press and take away that sting. Check in with the client. Make sure they're okay. You have to repeat this over and over and over, all the way down the back of the leg. And then you can turn the client on the back. You're going to wax the top of the legs. And then one thing to note is you'll bend the knee and leg slightly to get the kneecap. And then you also have to know that the thigh, top of the thighs, upper thighs, it tends to be a little bit looser. The skin tends to be a little bit looser. So take extra care to keep the skin nice and taut when you remove the fabric strip. And one thing that they've put in the textbook here is that if you remove the strip over the inner bone located at the top of the leg, to avoid bruising, when the strip is pulled, you're going to want to use 2 sections in that area. So once the legs have been fully, well, you're going to do it side by side, but once the back has been fully waxed, remove any wax with that post-wax remove. And then if you need to do any stray hairs with tweezers, you can. Then apply that soothing gel on the entire waxed area. Show the client the results, and they'll be thrilled. So one thing that might help a client a day or 2 after waxing, if they're prone to ingrown hairs, would ask them to exfoliate using a loofah or similar sponge while in the shower for legs or bikini area. That's really, really good. The more they get it done, the finer the hair will be, so that helps prevent ingrown hairs, which is really good. You can recommend lotions to keep the skin nice and soft. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to touch on about these areas. I think so. And so when your client is done being waxed, you're going to give her back to that privacy time to get dressed, and she'll be able to toss those disposable undergarments, and then she'll leave all the dirty, like the drape and the sheets. She can just leave all that on here because you're going to clean all that, and we're going to talk about that now. But you want to get her checked out, so you're going to get rid of these disposable gloves, toss them in the trash, and you're going to get your gorgeous hair-free girl checked out. She's 100% going to book because she's a regular wax client. If she's getting head to toe, she wants it all the time, and she's going to book right away for the next time. And you want to make sure that she feels really good about everything that happened. You want her to feel good and comfortable. So you've gotten her booked for her next appointment, and you've gotten her checked out. You've gone over the maintenance and aftercare. You re-emphasized all the important things that you need to. And then what you want to do is get back to your room because she's on her way out the door to finish up this and get ready for your next client. So if there's any single-use items that you haven't gotten rid of, now is the time for you to toss them. You want to take your implements like your tweezers, etc., scissors, and put them in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. You will take all of the sheets, bedding, drapes, etc., put them in a closed container until it's time for laundry. And then you are going to locate a cleaning solution, cleaning agent, and read the manufacturer's directions. Following the manufacturer's directions for mixing and usage, you're going to wipe down your workstation and area with that cleaning solution to remove debris. You will locate a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal and EPA approved for use in a salon setting, which means you need to get a new pair of disposable gloves because you're going to use them. You will follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. You will disinfect electrical equipment, store it in a clean area separate from other implements. Throw those gloves away and then wash your hands. So you're going to wet your hands at the sink. You're going to get a coin-sized amount of liquid hand soap, and you're going to wash your hands together down to the wrist. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to the wrist. You're going to wash your fingers, and you're going to wash the backs of your fingers. You're going to wash your fingertips and your nails. You're going to wash between your fingers. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You're going to wash your thumbs. You're going to wash your wrists. You're going to do all of that interlocking washing movement for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to give it a thorough and proper rinse underneath the water. When you feel like everything's been rinsed off, grab some disposable paper towels or towels, turn your faucet off, completely dry off your hands, throw the paper towels in the trash or a dirty towel in with that dirty linen in a closed container till it's time for laundry, and then get your hand sanitizer 70% ethyl alcohol, and you're going to fully sanitize those hands. And so this will be the conclusion of your full wax brow, lip, underarm, bikini, and full leg video, part 2.